Hello, everyone. We are here with Carolina from Helsinki Hub, from the Global Shapers community. Hi, Carolina. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm very good. It's kind of a gray day today, but they say snow is coming soon, so I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that too, because this dark November in Sweden here is quite depressing at times. So I would like to know more about you, first of all, and then some introduction to your project, which is called
My Digital Future.
My Digital Future. Okay, so yeah, just give me an introduction to you and the project.
Yeah, so I am originally from Portugal. I have been living in Helsinki for a year and a half, and I'm currently a planet-centric designer in a company called Vincit, which is an IT and design consultancy. And here, my role and my team's role is to focus on embedding sustainability into our processes. So finding ways to work with our clients and embed sustainability into the work that we do. So that's me. And in regards to the project, so My Digital Future project started in September. And the original idea was to focus on young professionals and university students and to educate more on future skills, data literacy, and algorithmic biases. So the idea was to cover these topics and was to do it through blog posts that we would write based on interviews with different kinds of experts. Also through participation in different kinds of events. For example, there would be some events here in Helsinki based on coding for kind of the general population, where we could focus on algorithmic biases and do some exercises and games. And yeah, this was kind of the original idea for the project. So to have this kind of written online content, and then to participate in events where we can access more kind of the general public that we cannot access just through our digital network.
All right. I see that we are also having Elina now with us. Hello, Elina. Welcome.
Hi. Very sorry for being late. I had a call overrun drastically, but I'm glad I could make it now.
So. No problem. We're also glad that you could join us. Carolina was just giving me an introduction, actually introducing herself and the project. So maybe you can also introduce yourself, and then we continue talking about your initiative in the hub.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Elina Mäkelä. I've been part of Global Shapers for around 2 years now. I'm together with my co-lead Victoria. I'm co-leading this project. Outside of the project work, I'm completing an MSc at Aalto University here in Finland. My background is very much in politics and international relations. I've spent a while working for the Ministry for Foreign Affairs here in Finland, but heading into management consulting in the near future. So that's me.
Great. Thank you. And I'm honestly happy to see so much diversity in all the interviews. I was just talking recently with Victoria, with Vicky from your hub, and yeah, hearing that she's from Peru and Carolina is from Portugal, and I'm glad that we have this mix of diversity. I'm curious now about My Digital Future. What was the need, or how did you identify a need for it? How did it all start?
Maybe I can kick this one off, and Carolina, feel free to jump in if you want. This really started with my master's thesis research, to be honest. I'm working with a research group focusing on the future of work. And through my research with the data set we're working with is, if you take Finland's 50 largest organizations, we're working with about 30 of them, without mentioning any names and breaking NDAs, but a really fantastic data set that has yielded a lot of really important insights for us. So the thing that I really noticed is that the skills and competencies needed of knowledge workers, and especially young professionals, they're not really keeping pace with, you know, the speed and velocity and impact of the kind of change, digital disruption we're seeing nowadays. And it was, for me, really interesting on a theoretical level to investigate that. But I was left with this research in my hands, being like, okay, we have this deficiency in skills and competencies and in responding to this level of technological change. But then what can we do about it? And we were having every summer we have a sort of hub retreat where we sort of workshop for 2 days and really get together and talk through like bigger strategy work with the hub, and also discuss potential new projects and review what we've done so far. And there in, I think it was July, I pitched this idea to the hub and got some interest from fellow shapers, and got the wonderful Vicky, who's my project co-lead, on board as well. And then it sort of just started from there. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a very interesting topic, and a topic that we need, since digital skills are part of competencies of the future. How will the future of work look like?
That's a very good question. I don't think we have a one sentence answer for that. But I would say that some of the conclusions we have been drawing is that it will change very fast, and it will probably be in ways that we can't really imagine now. So, you know, in my case, I'm 26, and maybe in 10 years, 20 years, I might be having a job that I don't really even know existed now. So, and that kind of uncertainty is something that we have to embrace within our paths. So, of course, there are things that we can do to prepare, but I think that was one of the main conclusions I've drawn so far, is that we can say that there will be a lot of technological developments that will affect the kind of work we'll have. But in the end, I think it's more about the ability of adapting and being open for new things, because I would say we really don't know exactly what it will look like. But I think that's also an exciting thing.
Great. I'm honestly curious, what challenges did you encounter while doing this project, or from the beginning to until now?
Yeah, well, maybe I can start, and again, Carolina, jump in if you want to add something. We faced quite significant challenges because of the COVID pandemic, as we really wanted this project to focus on building skills for the future of work and building data literacy, algorithmic literacy in young professionals. It was going to be a very hands-on project involving workshops and live events. We wanted to involve as many people in the local community as possible. That obviously became something that couldn't be done in a safe way now with all these regulations. So we very quickly had to pivot the whole concept. So we went from this, you know, ideal of having workshops and interactivity and larger scale events, to really shifting everything over to the digital realm. So we started to focus on interviews with industry experts, and condensing those into the blog posts we've been doing, other forms of digital content creation, and then some events we were able to make into internal events. Of course, our hub is full of young professionals, so we were lucky to be able to pivot some of the events in that sense. Carolina, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just to build on top. So within this pivoting, we also managed to organize an exhibition in the main library here in Helsinki. So our idea is that we can create kind of an asynchronous way to share this information, since we cannot, you know, create events to gather people. So the conclusions that we are taking from writing the blog posts and these internal events that we're doing, we are creating different kinds of materials to have in an exhibition in the library, which is something here. It's a place that is accessed by all kinds of people from all ages. It's a very kind of diversified space. So that's kind of our way to go towards a bigger audience.
Yeah, and this was actually a really, really exciting development for us. Oodi is a real national treasure here in Finland. It's a real sort of landmark, and it's visited by so many people. So in fact, this sort of new element that we weren't necessarily considering in the beginning of the project, but was something that, you know, a suggestion that came in once we'd had to do all this pivoting. That's now brought a whole another opportunity to expose a huge number of people to the kind of content we'll be creating.
Super interesting. But I'm also curious, since I come from a coaching perspective, so I am curious, how do you hope to shift perceptions? What would you like to see after, like, out of all of this? How do you want to shift the beliefs of the people or perceptions on digital skills, on machine learning? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we will have different perspectives. Maybe I start and then Elina, you give your idea. So in my point of view, I think in terms of digital skills, I would say if people can understand as I said before, you know, the level of uncertainty that will kind of increase and how we need to be open to adapt and kind of, you know, keep a curious mindset. I think that's probably the main takeaway, I would say, in terms of skills. And in terms of algorithmic biases and data literacy, I think if people can get the basic understanding about these fields and understanding how it affects their lives and what kind of things they can do to improve their knowledge, and having some idea of what are the right questions to ask when it comes to these topics, I think that's already a pretty good achievement. So we kind of, you know, if we can help them put their foot in the door, and then it's up to them to make their own journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And maybe I can, in response to the specific point on changing perceptions, maybe I can take an example from our very first month of the project and our very first blog post, in fact, which was all about making sense of artificial intelligence, when it's a very human reaction to be afraid and uncertain of things that we don't understand, changes that we don't understand. And so when we take these complex concepts and break them down in a very understandable way, that also changes people's understandings of them and maybe changes mindsets from sort of more negative to more positive. So that's one example of how we've been doing that.
Yeah, I was talking about that with Victoria as well. That I said, maybe for me it's the first time I hear about algorithms and generally about digital skills or so. My first thought is that I'm pretty sure technology might disrupt, or yes, there's a lot of progress, but how will this affect, I don't know, the decision making in the future, or that it might create privileges for some parts of the populations. So it was a recurring thought there. I'm also curious do you think you've made this project sort of culturally fit for Finland, or can this be easily replicated by other communities? Can other communities get inspiration to create a similar thing?
I would say this is definitely replicable. So what we have done interviews. A lot of the people, they were from Finland, but the format itself, you can really replicate anywhere, especially thinking that we wrote blog posts, then we did internal events. So this is something that people can organize by themselves, such as the documentary screenings that we've done. And then finally having an exhibition. So the format can really be adapted, I would say, anywhere. Of course, the corona restrictions would change, you know, from place to place. In some places, you do not have an open library to have an exhibition, but maybe that is something else that can be done with a similar format in that sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. The one big strength of this sort of big pivoting of the project that we've had to do is, of course, that it's adaptable to any context and any community. I mean, the one thing that is really great about this is that when you take, for example, the workshops or the larger events out of the equation, the core concepts of the project are no longer tied to a specific venue or a specific guest or a specific format enabled by that location. It's when things happen in the digital realm, I mean, they're very replicable everywhere. It's scalable as well.
All right. If you were to give like a final golden nugget of wisdom for people about the competencies of the future and my digital future, what would you tell to our audience?
Well, that's a great question. It's very hard to choose just one. I would say it's all about being open-minded and curious, as Carolina mentioned, sort of asking questions, asking the right kind of questions, and also building some sort of resilience to uncertainty and ambiguity, because the age we live in is characterized by change, and there's a lot of sources that tell us things like, you know, the pace of change is never going to be as slow as it is today. And I would say a great place to start building your understanding and your mindset around the future of work and these changes is by exploring our blog posts and visiting the resource hub that we have up on the Global Shapers Helsinki website.
Thank you. Carolina?
I think that was a perfect answer. I don't have anything to add on top.
Okay. Thank you so much for being part of this, and I feel like this was eye-opening and, I don't know, mind-opening, because it is a topic that people tend to reject in a way. They accept, yeah, we have technology, we have TikTok and, you know, social media, but then, yeah, what if AI will replace us? And this is the main belief that is in some people's minds. So thank you for sharing your experience with this project, and good luck with your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Bye.